See my life has been in motion. I'm a little windy. I'm not giving up yet. If you with me, time to place up your bet. Ain't no turning back, got niggas who ran. When we caught his ass, got caught in that jam. Yeah, you know who I am. Yeah, you know who I am. I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. Yeah, you can feel it coming. Fake love, that snake you in your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it.
Down to my knees, Lord, answer me. Keep my dealing. I know them niggas don't want no part. I keep my squeezing. Yeah. Oh, big ass pleasing. My mama tell me all the time, baby, you gonna be a star. But she don't even like that music. For real. That's your dog in the young, that nigga gon' be your peak. I had to stop fucking with niggas, I knew they wouldn't fuck with me. And I can't wait to ride touch, we gon' run these mix. Shit, I can't wait to scope touch, we gon' kill the mix. I know them niggas ain't fucking with me, that's why I brought the blitz. I know them niggas ain't fucking with me, that's why I put an extension. I know them niggas ain't fucking with me, I make your mama bitch. I had to move about my mama, I could bring attention. Cause when I leave about this bitch, I gotta bring the blitz. Hey, when I leave about this bitch, I don't know if I'll come back in. And if you really active, nigga, you know what I'm feeling. I told my niggas bull out, cause we on a mission. My girl be telling me chill out, cause she need a nigga. And plus my son, he getting older, that's my little nigga. It ain't shit I wouldn't do for my fucking children. And making it back home and out, you know I ain't playing with you. I hear them niggas talking like I keep that playing with you. I heard some niggas wanna ride me down, play with niggas. They know we keep those splits burning, we love smoke on niggas. I'm tired of bitch ass niggas act like we don't know a nigga. I'm tired of bitch ass niggas act like we won't get with it. I feel like gotta pin me, I swear y'all be ignoring niggas. I feel like gotta pin me, young nigga, I keep my Jordan with me. I feel like gotta pin these 3-3s, they are hitting me. Yeah. These 3-3s are hitting nigga. I feel like gotta pin me, young nigga, I keep my Jordan with me. Yeah, I keep my Jordan with me. I feel like gotta pin me, young nigga, I keep my Jordan with me. How your dog, nigga? B.O.P. I had to stop fucking with niggas, I knew they gon' fuck with me. And I can't wait to wild touch, we gon' run the shout to the American Aborigines in the chat, man. Let's turn up. Share the live stream. I know them niggas ain't fucking with me, that's why I put an extension. I know them niggas ain't fucking with me, I make your mama bitch. I had to move about my mama house, I couldn't bring attention. Hey, I couldn't bring attention. I had to move about my mama house, I couldn't bring attention. Hey, when I leave about this bitch, I gotta bring bliss. Hey, when I leave about this bitch, I don't know if I'll come back in. Real. Yeah. Shout out to all the American Aborigines in the chat, man. This is the Wake and Bake Show, man. Hit the like button. Let's turn up.
Yeah. Hey, man, all I'm saying is, nigga, you always got something to say. It's like you don't shut up. On the track.
A lot of niggas died 1865. Single Michael fled high, ain't gon' let it ride. Everybody hot and black was never on your side. They too maps to tell your apps where you sleep at night. They put that white man on. Got you begging them for answers like that white man know. Had you swearing you was African, that's that white man home. Had you proud to be a savage, that's that white man's zone. And I ain't talking shit, this by definition. And being savage was our nature, y'all be non-existent. We done took your ass out when we was in them kitchens. Instead of showing you how to live and how to maintain business. White supremacy fake. Only way that shit real is if you do what they say.
See my life has been in motion, I'm a little windy. I'm not giving up yet. If you with me, time to place up your bet. Ain't no turning back, got niggas who ran. When we caught his ass, got caught in that jam. Yeah, you know who I am. Yeah, you know who I am. I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. Yeah, you can feel it coming. Fake love, that snake you in your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it.
Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes. Alleyway.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, trippin' making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, trippin' making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I put attention, all in my blood, all in my veins. They started with perky, now that hair by numb is veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with dealing, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind, and that bullet had his name. Ain't no reason to cry about, cause that shit won't never change. MTF the 4th and P, my niggas can't get out the game. I gotta sleep with one eye open, trippin' making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, trippin' making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah.
Lost see, I glossed to we shit ain't been the same. Heard the ops talking to the feds, giving names. Who gon' feed my family if they take me out the game? Keep one in the head and one eye open, that ain't change. I'm quick to catch a body. When I shoot, he shoot, I know bro shooting right beside me. Them hollow tips go through the wall and then they hit his body.
Peace, love, and light to all the American Aborigines, man. It's your brother, Big Aboriginal Power. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the live stream. I need everybody to hit the like button, share the live stream. They already playing with the algorithm. We only got 34 people here, and it's already hit the 10-minute marker. We already supposed to have 80 people in here already. So I need y'all to share the live stream, man. Grand Rising. This is a classic bill. Y'all never heard of this information before. Y'all heard about Guatemala. Y'all heard about El Mirador. We'll get into that in a second. I want to say peace and blessings, Grand Rising to everybody that's tapping into the live stream that's happened to listen to this without having to type in the chat. Maybe you're busy at work, driving, whatever the case may be. Peace and blessings. Hope y'all have a beautiful day. All right, let me take the time out to shout out some of the brothers and sisters that took their time out to comment in the chats. So let me shout out to Craig Lloyd, shout out to General Peace, shout out to Darius Matthews, Pop Reed, aka Wilmore Reed, shout out to Lady Legs, Shamel Thompson, Fitness, the brother Fitness. Shout out to who else we got up in here? Chick Harmony Roots. Shout out to my sister Chick Harmony Roots. Always a pleasure to see you in here. Enoch's in the building. KSR, Yatkin PD. What's up, PD? Laurel Grassroots in the building. Rodney Lewis in the building. Joshua Stewart in the building. And Darius Matthews in the fucking building, y'all. Shout out to my man Jesse Stevenson and J.R. Bill or Junior Bill. I don't know if it's J.R. Junior. Shout out to Junior Bill, man. This motherfucker. Kiwanis, the AON in the building. Hey, man, listen, I got some exclusive shit for y'all, man. I know y'all kind of familiar with El Mirador, but you don't hear no recent shit on there. So you heard about the 60,000 structures. You heard about the Terra Praetor, the Amazonian supermud. You heard about the superhighways. You heard about the Mayan civilization that predates the Olmec, but you haven't heard it in the detail from the guy who actually discovered it, Dr. Richard Hansen, the guy who brought the 60,000 structures in Guatemala to life to us people to be able to look at the primaries and go forth with it. Listen, I actually got exclusive interviews from Dr. Richard Hansen. You can't find them on YouTube, period. You cannot find them on YouTube. So what we is going to do is play some exclusive interviews about him going into detail about the things that was found, archaeology, the system, things that changed the narrative dealing with ancient history. And America has put a nip in the bud when it comes to this uniform of terrorism history. So this rewrites history from the information and then the archaeology that we have found. So if y'all ready for that, man, make sure y'all drop them fire emojis in the chat. If y'all ready for this fire ass bill, let me know. I'm gonna need y'all to support the channel, man. I've been coming with heat every day this week. I said I was gonna come every day this week with heat, and I haven't capped on y'all. I haven't capped on y'all. Y'all gotta social support, man. Support the channel. For those that want to support the channel and send a nice little donation in for the time and content, hey, man, Cash App tags at the bottom right of the screen. Hey, if you're not following me on Instagram at big_Aboriginal_power, tags at the bottom right of the screen as well, man. Make sure y'all go follow me on all those social media outlets. Share the live stream. Shout out to Eyes Aboriginal. That's Eyes Aboriginal, goddamn. Shout out to Eyes Aboriginal. Sound like a slave said it. Eyes Aboriginal, boss. Eyes Aboriginal. Eyes gonna go over there. Yeah, I like that. Shout out to Eyes Aboriginal in the building. Sun Baby in the building. Shout out to Sun Baby, man. Shout out to my guy. Shout out to Son of California in this motherfucker. If y'all ready, man, drop them fire emojis. You understand me? Flood the chat out, man. I need y'all to support the channel, man. We just now about to get cracking. This is probably gonna be one of the most classic builds that y'all seen. My bro Craig said for the $1 challenge. Appreciate the $1 donation, man. Hey, y'all support the channel. $1 ain't shit, man. Y'all can really support $1, man. The $1 challenge is in effect. Let's get this shit on the road, man. Let's get it. I ain't gonna hold y'all up no longer. Drop them fire emojis. Let's see the chat flooded out with fire emojis. And I'm gonna hit that play button on this audio. Let's see the chat flooded out, and let's run them likes up, you guys. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Shout out to Craig once again for the $1 challenge. Make sure y'all support the $1 challenge. Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it.
Consider the foremost authority on Mesoamerican archaeology, Central America, and he's 86 years old. But what he has just recently come out to say is pretty mind-blowing. He believes that there is great evidence for diffusionism between Central America and the Pacific Rim. That would be, in his belief, is that the Maya and a number of Indonesian cultures exchange cultural information. A good chance they may have.
What civilization is ancient that was in the Pacific? What ancient civilization was in the Pacific? Mu, Lemuria. It don't have to be that name, but it's an actual criteria of civilization that existed and still exists.
In his belief, is that the Maya and a number of Indonesian cultures exchange cultural information. A good chance they
hold on. Let's get it going. This is the Wake and Bake Show. This is the Wake and Bake Show. Let me know what state, what city y'all in, and what are y'all smoking on this Grand Rising. This is the Wake and Bake Show. You're smoking on this goddamn peanut butter breath and a nice little backwood. Let's get it. Talk to me. Let's get it. Y'all turn up. It's your brother, Big Aboriginal Power. Shut it live.
Belief is that the Maya and a number of Indonesian cultures exchange cultural information. A good chance they may have exchanged how to build pyramids, because there are a number of well-known and documented pyramids in the Indonesian rim, and who knows what else. But for him to say that kind of validates a lot of the material we have on this program. And you can hear, you can read about it, you can hear a lecture he gives. If you go to
Purple
Facebook
Haze, Houston,
page, go
Oakland,
to Facebook,
what's up?
Ancients, go to the group
Jersey.
page, and I have a photograph of Dr. Michael Cole. He's written a number of books on the Maya. To say that the Pacific Rim, the cultures of that area exchanged information with the Maya is pretty mind blowing.
Like Jerry in
For him to
Atlanta,
say
what
that,
up?
it's just really makes
St.
you
Louis
think,
wedding
makes you
cake,
think quite a bit
blueberries.
about how much we don't know about our ancient past. So check that article out. And as always, check out the Facebook page. There's a gallery
Hey,
from
Khalil, that let you know.
Sardinia.
Let
The
you know something,
Sardinian
bro.
megaliths are there. Sardinia, for those of you that aren't familiar with that area, is a massive island off the coast of Italy. And this over 100 image gallery features a bunch of huge megaliths that I wasn't familiar with, numerous ancient buildings, and a lot of other structures that are from thousands and thousands of years ago. So the Sardinian megaliths is one gallery. Also, I posted a unique image of the Colosseum in Italy, the Roman Colosseum. Now, this is one of these 360-degree images that are quite unique. You use the mouse to move the photograph, the entire photograph around. You can see it from every angle, in the sky, below. And
shout out to the swamp, man. Swamp time, man. I need to put my new films on the Hood Netflix too. Lucky Sticks, get with me, man. I got some shit for the Hood Netflix. You need to get with me to promote that too. You been slacking, gang. Let's get it. You know what I mean? Got the latest chat on YouTube right now, man. We got one of the most dopest chats out here right now, man. Shout out to y'all in the chat too. Get these motherfucking likes up, man. This is the Wake and Bake, man. Y'all don't even play with your boy. Get them likes up. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Ghetto Child Clinic, Lady Leg, Snake Guy, Two Sticks. Hey, man. Shout out to Khalil. We lit.
Wow. Quite unique. And something to consider. Take a look at that. Also, I have a collection of new LIDAR images of El Mirador. We'll be talking about El Mirador a little bit later in the program with Dr. Rich Hansen. And the title of this series of LIDAR images is the unknown area of northern Guatemala. Fountains speak the same homework.
Let me run this back a little bit. Let's get straight into the meat and potatoes. You feel what I'm saying? We're going to get it. Hey, Christopher, stand back. If you want to watch the full audio, then bitch, go watch it. Nigga, you listening to a reaction of the video. Nigga, this ain't the actual video. You can't even find this goddamn audio. So don't play with me, man. Just listen to the information, man. We ain't even got started yet. We just prepping up to the information. I hate when niggas come in telling me how to run my motherfucking live stream. Like I ain't got 10,000 subscribers. Fuck.
Video, I'm blown away. You know, I see that he, with only his finger, he actually zips up. There's a little fountain flowing. He zips it up with his finger, and all of a sudden the water changes. Less water flows, and the sound changes. You can hear. And I'm actually with a friend of mine named Priscilla, and we both have the same reaction. We're like, what? And I say, tell him, do that again, do that again. You know, because I'm blown away. It's just one of the most incredible things I've ever seen up to that point. And so he did it again. He grew up there, by the way. He grew up in the city of Ollantaytambo. And so he did it again. And so, you know, as you can see in my reaction in the video, I'm just amazed by that. Now, if you ask me how they did it, I have no idea. I just have no clue. And a lot of people, I've had that video up on my website for probably the past 8 years. And over the years, people have emailed me saying, hey, how did they do that? And a couple of people told me, oh, that's easy. And I said, that's easy. You know, if you do this and that, and you'd be able to recreate that. And I said, well, listen, if it's so easy, show me. I'm not saying it, you know, I'm not saying it wasn't easy. I don't think it was, by the way. But if it was so easy, then show me. You do it and show me how it's done, because I'd love to know. And I never heard back from them. So until somebody can reproduce that for me and show me how easy it is, to me, it's really a miracle in stone. And again, we have to remember, this is stonework. They were masons, the people that did this miracle in stone.
He's talking about the people in Guatemala right now, the people in El Mirador. If you're not familiar with El Mirador, I'll give y'all a brief description. El Mirador is a city inside of Guatemala. And the El Mirador Basin is a vast region of heavily populated trees and density with vegetation. And in the midst of this vegetation, there are 60,000 structures that has been recently found through LADAR. And out of those 60,000 structures, 10,000 of those structures are pyramids, right? Another 5,000 are water retaining reservoir buildings. And they have found amongst a lot of other different things. We're going to be getting into that. So we're talking about niggas in Guatemala, the Mayan, pre-classic Mayan, was Masons. He just said these guys was Masons. So I want to make sure we got that into consideration. Let's get it, man.
Heard back from them. So until somebody can reproduce that for me and show me how easy it is, to me, it's really a miracle in stone. And again, we have to remember, this is stonework. They were Masons. The people that did this miracle in stone, this magic fountain, I call it the magic fountain of Ollantaytambo. The stone masons who carved out this fountain and created this on and off switch were, in my opinion, the forefathers, the ancestors of today's modern Freemasons. And there is a connection between them and all the other ancient stonemasons across the world. They all had the same sacred science, the same perennial philosophy, the same, they were in touch with what
is that science? The science between 0 to 9. The science between 0 and 9. Okay? Listen. Who created the number 0 to 9? They give credit to the Olmec. But obviously, this civilization in Guatemala predates the Olmec, according to Olmec's history of civilization. This is pre-classic Mayan, not late classic, right? Not late classic, but pre-classic Mayan civilization. This is the Snake Dynasty, the legend of the snake gods. All right, this is the fountain El Mirador, Guatemala, man. If y'all supporting the channel, man, support the channel. Support the channel, man. Support the channel. I said we got the $1 challenge today, and only one person supported me. Y'all lame as hell. Make sure y'all hit the like button at least. At least hit the like button and share the live stream. Let's try to get 100 people in the live stream before 30 minutes. Before the 30-minute marker. We at like 23 minutes in. Let's try to get 100 people in here, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. It's gonna be one-on-one. I don't want to keep talking, but I need y'all to hit the like button and support the channel, man. Let's get it.
we have inherited today as Freemasonry. I mean, all the symbols that we look at in Freemasonry, the Jacob and Boaz columns uniting to form the third eye, the square and compass symbolizing the above and the below, the left and the right, balancing the opposites. I mean, it's all there in the symbolism of Freemasonry. And so, it speaks to that. This fountain speaks to this lost worldwide tradition of stone masonry. Right. It speaks to that. It doesn't speak to the idea that the ancient peoples had, sawzalls and circular saws. And look, they couldn't have cut this straight. They did cut that straight. You know how? Because they were superior than we are today.
Not only was they superior, they was way more, like you said, advanced, superior. That's why other nations and other cultures try to revere the snake dynasties. They revere them. They looked up to them. They try to mimic them. They try to walk in the path of their shoes. And this is what American quality science brings to the table. You see what I'm saying? Let's keep it going.
They were more in tune with who they are deep down inside. They were in touch with their extrasensory powers, sixth sense powers, third eye powers. It's all there in Freemasonry. It's all there. It's just a matter of understanding the symbols and understanding how to decode the symbols. And it's not just the fountain in Ollantaytambo. It's everywhere. I mean, this is, we go, for example, to Baalbek in Lebanon, and we say, look at these massive stones. How did they do it? Well, that's how they did it. We look at Angkor Wat, and we say, well, how did they build it? Well, that's how they did it. And that's what I think that this fountain is really pointing to.
So I actually posted this fountain on the Facebook page. I have no clue how the water is turned on and off. The guy, basically, as you see it, there's the guide is running his finger across the front, the lip of the fountain, and as he does that, the water completely shuts off. So anyhow, very unique, beautiful design, cut in stone, solid rock. And then the magic of human touch turns the water on and off. You can see it on the Facebook page.
Nigga, they just came out with the touch. You ever seen water faucets, the new water faucets? And then you touch it, and then your water come on, and you touch it again, and it turn off. It's like the touch version. Nigga, they had that 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago in Guatemala, nigga. They had that shit 2,000 years ago in Guatemala, nigga. They just recently found that shit in Guatemala, and it's ironic that they just came out with that shit recently, too. In your households, nigga. Yeah, touch on, touch off water. Nigga, you touch it, it turn off. Touch it again, it turn on. Nigga, that's how it goes. Ancient shit, man. Listen.
Oh, very unique, beautiful design, cut in stone, solid rock. And then the magic of human touch turns the water on and off. You can see it on the Facebook page. Go to Earth Ancients Facebook, go to the group page, and I just put it up there. So it'll be up now for a few weeks. So try to check it out. If this is coming to you later, just keep scrolling down until you find the magic fountain of Peru, and it's quite a cool short video.
What's in Peru that's significant, that deals with civilization? Huh? Anybody know what's in Peru? That's a great civilization that we talk about, that had all this masonry and this magnificent shit that's going on. Can y'all name that civilization? Anybody know? Well, I'm gonna give y'all the name. It's called Corral Supe. Corral Supe. Corral Supe is in Peru. That's the oldest civilization in the world, with some of the most unique design of architecture that you can even find. Shout out to Enox for the $1 donation, man, supporting the $1 challenge, man. We got 85 people in here. Hey, y'all support the channel, man. Support the channel. Cash App tags at the bottom right of the screen. Cash App and PayPal information is ticking across the screen at the bottom as well. We also have PayPal, so y'all can hit that motherfucker if y'all want to. Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Let's try to get 100 people in here before the 30-minute marker. We already at 28 minutes. I need y'all to share the live stream real quick. All y'all, share the live stream. Each and every one of you. Let's try to get 100 people in here before the 30-minute marker. Now, y'all just heard what my man said. Let's get it.
And then the magic of human touch turns the water on and off. You can see it on the Facebook page. Go to Earth Ancients Facebook, go to the group page, and I just put it up there. So it'll be up now for a few weeks. So try to check it out. If this is coming to you later, just keep scrolling down until you find the magic fountain of Peru, and it's quite a cool short video, a couple of minutes total.
Oh, I gotta skip this bullshit.
There's a great archaeologist who's
yeah, I had to skip that bullshit. We ain't about to play that. Shout out to Grassroots. Shout out to L'Oreal Grassroots. They said, like New Era. Fire build, though, AP. It's Lou Era. Oh, my bad. Lou Era. All right, like New Era, Lou Era. All right, what up, Lou Era? Grassroots. My bad, gang. But, hey, this is a fire build. Shout out to Sham. Sham sent the Cash App donation as well. We appreciate all the support. Shout out to Sham and shout out to Lou Real. Lou Orel. Y'all know I'll be fucking up on these names, gang.
Regularly working at a Mayan pyramid culture, or pyramid complex, I should say. And we have with us today Dr. Richard Hansen, who is the director of the Mirador Basin Project in Guatemala. And it's a real honor to have him on the program, not only to discuss the details of what he's uncovered, but to get a sense of where the Maya developed their understanding of engineering and constructing these massive complexes. So I hope you enjoyed this interview, and I'll talk to you at the end of the program. We've talked a great deal about the Maya, Mesoamerican cultures. We've spoken to a number of research investigators who authored books on their perspective on the cultures that have been down there. I've talked quite a bit about my time, specifically in the Yucatan Peninsula, the pyramids that I've climbed and had the benefit of being around, and my talks with the various elders in the Yucatan Peninsula. But we never had.
Hey, Chris, I'm sorry you a bum. You feel what I'm saying? Stop your hating, nigga. I know you mad. You feel me? Stop hating, gang. You feel me? You came to my chat to hate. What type of guy are you, fam? Are you going through some things? Huh? Your girl left you. She cheating on you, fam. You been touched by the little kid and it's just now coming out, nigga. What's wrong with you? That's why they gonna keep supporting, because I support the movement as well, bro. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Y'all keep supporting the channel, man. Get these haters mad, man. The more y'all support, the more they get them mad.
Had a true expert on the program, and I'm really excited to have Dr. Richard Hansen with us today. Dr. Hansen is the director of the Mirador Basin Project, the president of Foundation for Anthropological Research and Environmental Studies, called FAIRS, and he's the adjunct professor of anthropology at the University of Utah, Salt Lake City. Richard, it's a great pleasure to have you on the program today.
Thank you, Cliff. It's wonderful to be with you, and I appreciate your interest.
I want to.
All right, we got Richard Hansen on this bitch. Let's get it. The man, the myth, the legend, the man who found Guatemala, who single-handedly spent his own money excavating areas in Guatemala, man. He actually discovered the first pyramid by hand himself.
I mean, there's so much I want to ask you about this, the Mirador, El Mirador ruin city, but I kind of want to get a little bit about information about your background, how you got involved in Mirador. I mean, you've been interested in researching for, it seems like, most of your life, but how did you get started specifically in the Mirador, El Mirador project?
Well, I cut my teeth by working in Anasazi ruins of southern Utah and in Montezuma Canyon of Utah. And then I was employed in Israel by Tel Aviv University to work with students on a site called Tel Michal, which is right on the beach by Herzliya, north of Tel Aviv. I worked the site there for 2 years with Tel Aviv University. And while there, I was invited by Bruce Dallin of Catholic University and Ray Matheny of Brigham Young University to joined a project together to explore an unknown area of northern Guatemala. And they were fascinated by lines they detected crossing the swamps. We had no idea what those lines were. Since I spoke Spanish, they asked me to come out and work with them on that project, which we began in 1978. I went down with Matheny, organized all the permits, and in January '79, major excavations starting on the architecture.
So he's telling you when he first got the El Mirador, when he started working in the area, giving a little background on his archaeology and shit like that, and his background. Shout out to KR for the Cash App donation, supporting the Dollar Challenge. He said it's going to be a fire bill, and tell them niggas that you don't accept coupons. Tell them niggas you don't accept coupons. You damn right. We don't sell no fucking coupons, man. Y'all support the channel, man. Y'all see the tag at the bottom right of the screen. Y'all see the Cash App and PayPal information going across the screen. Y'all see the like button at the bottom of the motherfucking shit. So, hey, man, share the live stream. Let's get it. It's the brother, Dr. Richard Hansen.
Since I spoke Spanish, they asked me to come out and work with them on that project, which we began in 1978. I went down with Matheny, organized all the permits, and in January '79, major excavations starting on the architecture in the site. And now they assigned me the large architecture because I had a considerable architectural experience. And that's when I was actually on my way to work in Bolivia. I'd been invited by the Bolivian government to work at a site called Tiwanaku in the highlands of Bolivia. By a man named Carlos Ponce San Ginés. And Tiwanaku fascinated me. I've been in Bolivia. I love that site. I'd actually been at that site many, many times. And when Carlos Ponce San Ginés invited me to come back and work there, that's where I was headed. But I got stuck in Guatemala and I've been there ever since. That's now going 37 years.
Did you actually do some of the consolidation at Tiwanaku in Bolivia where they were actually excavating?
What they were doing there was just cleaning the surface in the Calasataya.
I want to get with y'all real quick. Is the audio good? Is we good on the audio? Is everything loud and clear? Does it sound distorted? Let me know what's going on. Drop them fire emojis in the chat if all the audio is loud and clear to you guys. I just want to make sure it's loud and clear to you guys. Let's get it.
Calasaya compound, and so I would go there and assist them when I was doing it. But I got along well with the head archaeologist at the time, and so he wanted me to come back down since I spoke Spanish and work there. And so that's where I was planning on going. But and I love the Altiplano. It's fascinating. I think the Altiplano of Bolivia is very, very interesting scientifically. And especially Tiwanaku because of the megalithic stones that they were hauling in there. They were transporting enormous andesite and andesite blocks from huge distances, 20 kilometers in some cases. They were bringing.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. Would you, as a academic archaeologist, consider that an anomalous ruin simply because of the complete mind-blowing accuracy in the way they cut those stones? Or we don't really know how they cut those stones. Some people are so there's such a particular design. It's almost like they poured those stones like a cement almost, isn't it?
Yeah. It's absolutely a wonderful testament into the ingenuity and the sheer talent of human beings.
Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. You hear that? They had a form of concrete. They had a form of concrete already 3,000 years ago. You know how all these stadiums built out of concrete with metal framing in work? Same shit. Shout the cocaine on the wood grain for the Cash App donation, man. We appreciate all the support. Christopher, stand back. You getting mad yet, brother? I know your cock eating ass mad. Let me see who else who supported the channel today. Shout out to Albert Billingsley for the Cash App donation as well, supporting the $2, $5 challenge. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We're gonna keep running up this fire information, exclusive interview from Dr. Richard Hansen, information you didn't even know about Guatemala. So at El Mirador, we already brought a lot of shit out, man. So let's get to it, man.
It's almost like they poured those stones like a cement almost, isn't it?
Yeah. It's absolutely a wonderful testament into the ingenuity and the sheer talent of human beings. Extremely ritual. These were extremely ritual compounds. They have a sunken plaza there with the heads embedded in the plaza. They have the mammoth pillars, these monolithic pillars that were placed in the walls of the buildings. They had a large pyramid structure at the site, and in huge blocks that were actually transported to a place called Pumapunku, which is another.
He said, I box, my guy. We can host a charity event and raise awareness for the channel. Yeah, let's set it up, nigga. I don't box, nigga. I UFC fight, nigga. You want to get in the cage? My email on the screen as well. At the end that's ticking across the screen, Zelly the Dime. Hit me up. Let's set up a cage fight match. I've been looking for making an example out of one of you niggas. Set it up, nigga.
Section of the city that they haul these incredibly enormous blocks, and so I was fascinated with that thing. The fact that they would quarry those blocks with such precision, and these are all, of course, pre-Inca. This is all way earlier than Inca society. But I was fascinated with that, and that's where I was going. But when Matheny and Dahlin asked me to come with them to Mirador, I jumped at the opportunity because I had been to Tikal in 1974, Right. Flew into Tikal from Guatemala City, landed at Tikal, and in the afternoon flew back to Guatemala City. But that's the dream. I mean, who would have ever expected that a guy could end up working in Guatemala? When I got down there, though, with Matheny, then they put me in charge of the big architecture, and that's when I discovered how early the city was.
If you were there in the, I mean, we've known about El Mirador since the 1930s when they flew over it, and they were, they could see. I mean, they confused buildings for volcanoes or big mountains.
Yeah, that's right. They did. They were flying between Campeche and Chetumal, and they saw what looked like volcanoes, and they thought, what are volcanoes doing in limestone? A karst limestone plateau. Yeah. So they diverted their flight and flew around them, and they could see that these were huge blocks on the buildings. So,
but I mean, the locals probably knew about it for decades, for millennia. But when did works actually start in excavating and consolidating these ruins? Was it before the 1970s, or did they finally get money together?
Hey, what's that nigga's name in the chat? Christopher, stand back. Nigga, your ass need to stand back, Christopher, or your ass get slammed on your motherfucking head, nigga. I've been waiting to beat the shit out of one of you niggas. You ain't even gonna email me neither, goofy.
To start doing some heavy work in the late.
No, the real archaeological work began in 1978 and 79, and that ended in 1983. When I was part of that project. That project ended in 1983, but they didn't do any archaeological consolidation. We just did explorations and test pitting and sampling, and then in 1983 that project ended. So then, 1987, then 1987, the government of Guatemala wanted to know if I would take the project on as a project, but with a regional focus. They just didn't want no Mirador, and understood they wanted a regional focus, and I accepted, and managed to obtain the funding to start pursuing that, and so since 1987, we've been doing major work. We now mapped and excavated 51 ancient cities in the basin.
I saw that. When you first started, who was funding your research? Was it a university, or was it the Guatemala government?
Well, I was named a National Graduate Fellow by the U.S. Department of Education and a Jacob Javits Scholar. And that gave me, they presented a major amount of money for that, and I poured that money into the research. I was also, named the UCLA Outstanding Graduate Student, the UCLA Distinguished Scholar, and all that had money too that I poured into the research. So that's how and then I had private donors that came up, stepped forward, and put $50,000 to $100,000 into it too, which launched the whole thing.
So in the very beginning, when you were there, how many? What was the size of your team to begin excavating and consolidating?
We probably had 30 people in 1987 total. 1989, 30 people, 30 workers, and a team of about 15 scholars. But that changed very quickly. We got 80 to 90 workers quickly, and now we're up to 400 approximately. 400 laborers.
Shout out to everybody in the chat.
40 specialists from all over the world.
Okay. Let's talk about where El Mirador stands historically. I was reading that you have dated some, I think it was corn. I think the date came back 2,700 BC. Can you talk a little bit about that historically? Because that's a mind blower. Would you say that they were building pyramids at that time, or was that more in an area that you discovered that corn, more of an inception period?
Now, this is a fascinating period of time, because we we're working with David Wall of the U.S. Geological Survey and Tom Schreiner, University of California in Berkeley, in which we've done coring of some lakes right on the western edge of the basin. And we did deep water, or the coring of these lakes. We obtained 17 vertical meters of cores and have been analyzing the entire sequence of the pollen, primarily the pollen activity. Since the winds come from the east, it would carry the signature of all of the activity going on and deposit that in those lakes. Covered, we're far back to about 9,000 BC. We know the kind of terrain it was. It was how this looked like grassland savannas and oak scrub forest in 9,000 BC, and at the very end of the Pleistocene period. But by 6,000 BC, a major transformation took place, another major climate change. Those nasty fossil fuels, you know what that can do to you at 6,000 BC. But the major climate change in which they had very dense and lush tropical forest appearing. And this, from that time on, has been tropical forest. The Maya, however, we find when we sample those cores, as we take dating of those of the different levels, we find consistently in all three different lakes that we sampled the appearance of corn at 2600 BC. And wow. And so that means that they're planting corn somewhere in that vicinity. But these are pre-ceramic occupations, and we couldn't find them. I couldn't find them anywhere until we did excavations on one of the earliest platforms at the city of Knight Bay. And in the earliest platform, we discovered some post holes, and I had this post holes had been burned. The post had been burned, and I didn't process the carbon because I thought they were associated with the stone walls that are about 50 centimeters above it. And I thought, well, those post holes are simply to sustain those walls or support those walls. To our surprise, the carbon from those post holes was about 2600 BC too. So we know there's an occupation out there where they're carving post holes in bedrock and having some kind of at least a village presence by that time.
I don't know why that shit cut up. Shout out to everybody in the chat too, by the way, man. This is a fire ass live stream. Shout out to everybody else that donated. A couple people donated, want to stay anonymous. So shout out to y'all for supporting the movement. Shout out to y'all for supporting the movement. Let's get it, man.
There's an occupation out there where they're carving post holes in bedrock and having finds the carbon. I didn't process the carbon because I thought they were associated with the stone walls that are about 50 centimeters above it. And I thought, well, those post holes are simply to sustain those walls or support those walls. To our surprise, the carbon from those post holes was about 2600 BC too. So we know there's an occupation out there where they're carving post holes in bedrock and having some kind of at least a village presence by that time. The problem is that the ancient Maya, for centuries subsequently, mined the surrounding areas for quarries and fill for the buildings, big buildings they were building. So any of that earlier occupation would be very rare and very scarce to find in these sites because of the heavy and extensive quarrying that took place. But when we excavated the largest and earliest platforms, we find that occupation there. So there was occupation. 2600 BC.
Would you say that that time period?
Shout out to Kevin Gilbert too for supporting the dollar challenge as well. Shout out to Kevin Gilbert supporting the dollar challenge.
Was also a period where they were building their pyramid complexes, or this is more pre.
These are most likely roving semi-sedentary groups, but no evidence of any type of architecture per se, other than post holes. However, at 1200 BC, though, we do find stone walls, the appearance of architecture, wattle and daub construction houses, and by 800 BC, they're building big platforms. By 600 BC, they have pyramids 25 to 28 meters high.
Okay, so before we started this, I think one of the early questions I asked you, and I think I wrote to you this question, and I believe you wrote what I'm about to say in some article or scientific paper. I think you said that you believe that these early Maya, 1200 BC, are contemporaries of the Olmec, because the Olmec kind of surfaced around that time period. Is that?
I want y'all to pay attention to what's been said right here.
I think.
Hey man, we got 107 people in here. Do me a favor, share the live stream, y'all. Hit that like button, man. That's why the algorithm ain't pushing it out, because we ain't got 100 likes yet. We get 100 likes, the YouTube algorithm is gonna push the information, push the live stream. Support the channel, man, by hitting the like button and sharing the live stream, you guys. Let's get it.
I think you said that you believe that these early Maya, 1200 BC, are contemporaries of the Olmec, because the Olmec kind of surfaced around that time period. Is that correct? Is that your assumption?
That's correct.
Okay,
that's correct. I think the Maya are the sister culture. They're not the Olmec aren't the mother culture of Mesoamerica. And some scholars will argue that vociferously, believing that the Olmec are the mother culture, but we have occupation that are contemporaneous. They weren't as sophisticated as, say, the groups in San Lorenzo. By far beat what we have in the Maya, but by the time we look at the occupation at La Venta, we have Maya cities that are even larger in scale than the sites of La Venta. Mm-hmm. We have, and we don't have any Olmec-like artifacts in the basin, which means that they didn't want to go there, they couldn't go there because we had a potent enough Maya presence to deter it.
That's amazing.
Some other areas of the lowlands will have that Olmec, the beautiful site of Cival, for example, which is near Belize on the eastern side of Guatemala, has a wonderful Olmec style offering at a base of a pyramid there. But that's again outside the borders of the basin. It looks like the actual Mirador Basin itself, which includes part of the southern part of Campeche, was a political entity in and of itself. The natural borders of the basin also served as the cultural borders of their system. And we know that because the causeways that we've discovered throughout the entirety of the basin, these mammoth, the first freeway system in the world, so to speak. None of those freeways go outside the borders of the basin. They're all contained within the basin itself. So it's what I believe to be the first true state level society in the entire Western Hemisphere. It has the largest cities. It has the largest ancient cities in the entire Western Hemisphere, the largest pyramids in volume in the world, the tallest pyramids in the Americas, and this is all done prior to the time of Christ.
Do you think that there was exchange of knowledge, sciences between the Olmec and the Maya? Because that's what most history books display, is that the Maya were the father or the mother culture that kind of set everybody else in motion. If it's true that they were contemporaries to a degree, as a scientist, do you see kind of an exchange of science, an exchange of technology, pyramid building, anything?
Well, the main drainage from the Mirador Basin goes to the northwest to the Candelaria, which goes down to the Laguna de Terminos in the Gulf of Mexico. That's as close as you're going to get to the Olmec heartland. So I think that there must have been more like a competitive ideology. Olmec cities are oriented north-south axis. The earliest Maya cities are an east-west axis. And so there's east-west focus, east-west axis there, and it looks like their agenda was entirely different than the Olmec. And yet the Olmec are carving huge basalt heads. The Maya are placing enormous monumental masks on architecture.
Right.
The Olmec were putting up monuments of exotic the stele and monuments up to 4 and 5 meters high with exotic stone. The Maya at the same time were doing exactly the same thing. And then, of course, La Venta was sacked and burned about 400 BC. Now, who would have cojones enough to sack and burn La Venta? You see, a major polity, a major power. There was only one group that would have had the potential to do that militarily, economically, and politically. And that's the Maya of the Mirador Basin. Where I'm suspicious that's what's going on. But they would have had that contact and that link, and a competitive ideology does wonders. Look what the competitive ideologies did for the U.S. space program. When Sputnik went into orbit, look what happened. You see.
Here's a question I have for you, and you as a field archaeologist really can possibly address this. Do we see a progression in this pyramid culture where we see a beginning, kind of a pyramid with certain types of engineering, and then we look at, say, Ladanta, which is probably the largest pyramid in the world at 230 feet high. Have you noticed any construction techniques where they're learning as they're going?
Absolutely, and that's what's fascinating about it. We can see the evolution of the architecture through time. For example, from 1000 BC to 600 BC, the stonework is they're about 15 inches, 18 inches long by 8 inches thick by 12 to 14 inches wide. Roughly hewn stone.
Hey man, listen, hit that like button. This is Dr. Richard Hansen, the man who discovered El Mirador, what we call the El Mirador Bison, the whole 60,000 structures. This is the man credited to that. He's giving you exclusive information on Guatemala and connection between the Olmec and other surrounding cultures. Let's get into it.
Some quarries, and they're placed in walls and 15 inches, 18 inches long by 8 inches thick by 12 to 14 inches wide. Those roughly hewn stones from quarries. And they're placed in walls and have a little plaster over the walls. The walls are vertical. They're not slanted. They don't have any slope to them. They're vertical platform walls.
Make sure y'all support the channel. For those that want to support the channel, Cash App tags at the bottom right of the screen. And there's other payment information ticking across the screen. PayPal, Cash App, email, hit me up. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Hey, stand back. I messaged you too, man. We're going to set that up, man. Set it up.
But and a rough and crude mortar that's placed on there with a rough stucco, the lime stucco cement that's placed on the walls and on the top of that. However, at 600 BC, there's a monumental change. And that involved the quarrying of stones, huge blocks that were 1.5 meters long and 50 centimeters high and 40 to 50 centimeters thick. So these incredibly huge blocks are being quarried and put in the walls with the long axis exposed. So you have 2 blocks side by side. That's 3 meters in 2 blocks of horizontal space that would cover in a wall. Incredible constructions. And then they had a thin layer of plaster they put over those walls. But at 300 BC, there's again another major change, and that's when the Maya took the same size blocks and they ran them parallel to the wall line. Instead of 1 block, it required 3 or 4. In other words, they run the blocks into the fill of the building. And a much more massive use of stone. Instead of 1 block to cover a horizontal area, it required 3 because they ran those blocks lengthwise into the building. And we can see that evolution. And of course, then when that all collapsed, then the classic Maya used what we call
what he's saying is potentially that picture the blocks being a rectangle. And a rectangle can go in, you see, you got the long form of it, whereas longer, and then you get turn it sideways where it's shorter. The Mayan used it bricks where they was long, so it didn't require as many bricks. The pre-classic. The later on dynasties turned the bricks sideways, which was putting them in long ways, and which require more brick. So it shows the different style of architect is what he's talking about, which is very, very key. Let's get it.
Near blocks, which are little scabby, little thin stones that are finely shaved on one side, but only about 8 to 10, 8 inches thick. And they use those on the veneer of the rubble. Kind of a sloppy stonework compared to what was going on in before the time of Christ. The other thing we see is,
isn't it strange that the highly sophisticated pyramid complexes were much earlier than, say,
shout out to Elizabeth Young in the chat. Shout out to the Bomb Mom C3 in the chat. Shout out to Ron Torres in the chat.
300 BC. I mean, you're talking about a jump where the older design, it's much more perfection in engineering in using these massive blocks that they use similar to what they use in Egypt. And then
that's exactly right.
It's kind of a de-evolution in a way, isn't it? Isn't that strange?
Right. That's absolutely right. But you notice one of the things that's consistent throughout the world, through ancient cultures throughout the world, is usually the most magnificent manifestations of their art and architecture are the earliest ones.
Yeah.
Look, for example, the earliest structures of South America, the earliest pyramids of South America are the largest, are the earliest ones. Look, the ones in Egypt, they never replicated the pyramids of Giza and Cheops in the time of the Ptolemies. Mm-hmm. This was much earlier. So and same with China. You see the Shang Chinese these huge, and the Han dynasties were that was massive earthworks that were being constructed in those periods of time. You find extraordinary complexity in the Indus Valley civilization much earlier than you find in subsequent occupations. So the monumentality seems to be a primary focus early in their history, and they establish themselves. They do, but we see it even today. Look at one of the most magnificent cathedrals being built in Europe. They were built relatively early in the history of Christianity. They're not building them today.
Yeah. I just curious, because if these are, I mean, that's phenomenal engineering. That's engineering might. I mean, these are multi-ton structures, and using huge limestone that's quarried, miles away, dragged to these complexes, and then erected.
So don't let nobody tell you that our pyramids is made of mud. You hear what he said? Stone that was quarried and dragged to the location. You feel me? Hand-selected stone. All right, don't let nobody tell you that we ain't got great monuments. And he also said we have the largest pyramid on the planet. You didn't hear that earlier. If you didn't, go back and listen. This is fire information.
In a way that's just mind-blowing. It's just like, what? I mean, is there no explanation for that? It's just seen. It's like a worldwide phenomenon. Everybody's building with monstrosity stonework. Strange.
It absolutely is, and I'm still astonished by what we're seeing there. Not only was this the control of labor and the diversities of specializations that were being developed, but the monumentality of it was done without the wheel, without carts, without oxen, without any type of vehicle, to transport or any burden. This was all done on human labor. What we did, Cliff, is we excavated 6 quarries at Nag Bay. We actually excavated the old quarries. We covered the stone tools that were still found in the quarries. We replicated those stone tools, and we quarried blocks. So we had an idea on how many man days of labor it took per block to quarry these mammoth stones. And then we transported them. discovered that it takes 12.
Hold on, y'all. Let me take this quick little break.
Yeah. Hey man, all I'm saying is, nigga, you always got something to say. It's like you don't shut up.
Blazing on the track.
A lot of niggas died 1865. Single Michael fled, highway ain't gon' let it ride. Everybody hollering black was never on your side. They do maps to tell your apps where you sleep at night. They put that white man on. Got you begging them for answers like that white man know. Had you swearing you was African, that's that white man home. Had you proud to be a savage, that's that white man's zone. And I ain't talking shit, this by definition. And being savage was our nature, y'all be non-existent. We done took your ass out when we was in them kitchens. Instead of showing you how to live and how to maintain business. White supremacy fake. Only way that shit real is if you do what they say. We the guards of the gate. So when they say they fear God, now you know what they make.
Transported them. Discovered that it takes 12 men to move one of those pre-classic blocks, 10 men to carry it, and 2 men to stabilize it. And we moved one of those big blocks and 600 meters in 17 minutes under those conditions. But and then we calculate the number of blocks just in the face of a building, and you get the idea of the investment of labor, which was astounding. Huge control of labor. We calculate, for example, 2.8 million cubic meters of fill in the Pyramid of Danta. 2.8 million cubic meters.
Wow. Now, the Pyramid of La Danta is not too far from Belize. It's in the Guatemala, El Mirador Bison region. And like I said, this is the most densified place where pyramids is found. They have over 60,000 structures, 10,000 pyramids in just the Guatemala basin alone.
And then you quantify that, you could use that as much as 15 million man days of labor to build that one building alone, and there are thousands of contemporary buildings out there.
Yeah. When you started excavating the La Danta pyramid, and from the photographs I've seen, and I've seen some LIDAR scans too, the use of the artificial foundation is quite unique. I've seen it in Uxmal, in small versions and other sites in the Yucatan Peninsula, but at El Mirador, they use it with magnificent precision. Why use this artificial foundation to build? Why build on such a massive scale? Do we have any idea?
Well, the Maya were essentially using the buildings of sacred mountains. The whole idea was to develop what we call the Huitzna, the mountain house, which was a sacred mountain in there. And in the case of the Mirador Basin, the largest pyramids in the entire Maya world were built out there in the pre-classic periods. Mm-hmm. We didn't know that until we started working there 30 years ago. And have been discovering, working out these other ancient cities. We find the same size, not only are these buildings massive, and not only do they have that unique stonework we just talked about, but they have a different format architecturally. When you go to Tikal or Chichen Itza or Tulum or Cova or Palenque, you see these pyramids with a structure on the top of the pyramid. But in the pre-classic Maya, put up these massive pyramids with 3 structures on the summit, what we call a triadic style of architecture. And these 3 summits are consistent throughout the entirety of the basin, as well as the entirety of the Maya world in the pre-classic. There was ubiquitous form of architecture that started about 300 BC.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if they're making these artificial mountains, they have various levels. Are they doing astronomical observation there? Is there certain writing at different levels that you've been able to detect, or are we just somewhat guessing that they're building these things, as you call, as artificial mountains?
Well, these buildings definitely have primary emphasis on solar movements. We know that because of the east-west focus, and because we've done the alignments that are primarily related to agricultural cycles. We find alignments of certain buildings on agricultural cycle, but they were keenly aware of the equinoxes and the solstices. They knew those phenomena. They were able to predict them, and were able to build buildings with those kind of alignments. But there's other uses. These buildings are the largest ones, of course, are ceremonial and ritual. It's like the cathedrals in Europe and the cathedrals in Latin America. The largest buildings, the most magnificent investment of stone and labor were done here. But also there may have been more functional and practical uses. For example, I believe strongly in a concept of line of sight phenomena, where they're aligning all of these structures in a line of sight visibility, which would allow them to communicate at the speed of light with a mirror or with fire or something throughout the entirety of the basin.
That's fascinating. In 2009, one of your co-workers, a student, found, and it's located in the central Acropolis. It's a frieze that is beautiful, and it's a waterway, a little pool. The sculpture, that relief that is shown, is the famous twins from the Maya classic, the Popol Vuh. Was that considered a public pool of some kind, or what do you define it as? Some kind of a waterway?
Well, Dr. Craig Argyle was my student at the time. He passed away, unfortunately, due to cancer. But what we were looking at is water control mechanism between reservoirs. And so we were trying to understand there's 2 big reservoirs inside the central Acropolis. Now, these are restricted areas. These were not public areas. These were for the nobility, probably the head. This is essentially the White House, so to speak, of Mirador, or the Beverly Hills of Mirador, if you want. They were extremely restricted access, so that wouldn't have been public visibility. But what Argyle discovered was the remnants of this frieze that was remarkably preserved, absolutely well preserved. So we excavated the art and showed about 7 meters of it. I, however, detected that the floors may have covered something else. So I began a series of excavations below the floors of these pools and discovered that the art continues below the floors. The Maya themselves had buried up their earlier art. And now we have 43 meters, horizontal meters of art, exquisitely preserved, that is found in the central Acropolis. It looks like this art was part of a decorative function of an earlier building that was then incorporated into a causeway. But also what had me very suspicious is that this art may completely surround these sunken plazas. They were sunken ceremonial plazas that were converted into reservoir systems. So initially they weren't reservoirs. Only when there became a climate change, so maybe a little drawing of the situation, then they converted those sunken plazas into water collection systems and reservoir systems. And they had dual waterfalls, for example, that went from pool to pool, allowing the water to cascade from one pool to another in a very, it would have been a very elaborate. You're looking at the Hearst Castle of Mayan civilization at that time, you see.
Wow. I've read quite a bit about the genius of Maya's ability to collect water. I mean, they were definitely hydrologists, able to move water, collect water, store water. Have you been able to determine under the actual buildings at El Mirador if there is this system of canals and holding tanks and other, I don't know if you call them levees, but just a system that is set up in place to feed water in and out of that area?
You know, that's a great question. We have a series of lakes on the western edge of the basin. We have to the south of the Mirador Basin, we have the magnificent Lake Patenitza, 24 miles long of fresh water. Why didn't the Maya build these mammoth and monumental ancient cities on the edge of that wonderful lake? Have all the water you could drink, all the fish you could catch, the nice breeze coming across that water. Why didn't they build these cities there? No, they're out of the most distant location they can get from a river or from the ocean. Mm-hmm. And the reason was because they were after this swamps. They were living in marshland swamps, perennial wetlands. And what they were doing is mining the mud, the muck out of these systems and transporting into their cities. Now, once they got the cities, once they had that agricultural wealth established, that's when it gave them the economic capability to develop these cities. But there's no water. So how do you survive when you have little or limited water and a massive and burgeoning and growing population? The Maya were astute engineers in designing all of their plazas and all of their architecture as water collection mechanisms. So you had these huge plazas, for example, that were constructed exclusively for water collection and had run the water into large reservoir systems. And they've got numerous reservoirs. We have evidence of a dam that was constructed at 500 BC, where they dammed up an entire area of Abajo that joins two different parts of the city. There's a little spur of Abajo in there, a little sunken area. They dammed that with a dam over 500 meters long, and at 500 BC, and it made this.
Hey man, make sure y'all support the channel, man. Run up the likes, man. Can we get the likes up? That's all I ask for you guys is to run the likes up. Shout out to James Jackson on the Cash Out donation, supporting the $2 challenge. Hey man, don't let James Jackson be the only one support the channel today. Make sure y'all support the channel. Hey man, run these likes up, man. Let's get it cracking, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. If you ain't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. It's your brother, Big Aboriginal Power. Let's get it.
Incredible water collection mechanism. So it's essentially how they were able to control that and build enormous reservoirs. And when we did a LiDAR study of the majority of the heart of the Mirador Basin, and discovered all of these magnificent artificial reservoirs all over the Maya world. I mean, all over the basin. They were constructing reservoirs and building dams and channeling water into them. And they had canals. They had what we call chinampats, the pipe where they had these parallel elevated fields by dredging the muck out of these lower areas and putting up onto the elevated fields and farming the same piece of ground for 1,000 years. To renovate their terraces, they just need a little layer of that organic mud again, and it renovated their fields. They were able to farm the same ground over and over and over again. None of this primitive milpa system where they slash and burn and plant corn for a couple of years and they have to move on. They were farming the same piece of ground for 1,000 years. And we have massive evidence of that.
That's amazing. Did you find the access point of these canals where the people that were living in El Mirador could access water? How did they get water for the general population? Was there like the serving areas where it just kept flowing down? I mean, they didn't have like faucets or anything. It just probably continually flowed, wouldn't you say?
Well, every Maya structure was probably captured. We find carved stone drains where they had water that dripped off the buildings and into probably large stone pots, ceramic pots where they were collecting water in ceramics. And of course, that keeps the water cool because as the water percolates very slowly through it cools. So it keeps the water cool. They all were collecting water that way, but as well as their major reservoir systems. They had monumental reservoirs in which they were collecting water for the dry season. When you get 2 meters of rain, 2 to 3 meters of rain annually, that's what 6 to 9 feet of rain annually. It provides ample water if you collect it, and they were masters that collected water. One of the reasons we think they became one of the reasons that would have instigated the centralization of government was the realization that we don't organize ourselves, we're going to be in trouble. So they would organize water collection mechanisms, and it formed the very foundations of the first government.
Shout out to Khalil Smith. He said, "For you gotta call not a coincidence a bitch ass nigga." Damn, not a coincidence what he did to you. He said, "For you not, for you call him a not a coincidence a bitch ass nigga." Appreciate the $2 cash out donation. Support the channel, man. Make sure y'all support the channel. Hit that like button, man.
That's name.
It's necessity that requires government.
Yeah, exactly. I posted a fascinating photo last week on my Facebook page of a LIDAR survey that was done on El Mirador, and it's only one image, but have those scans turned up anything unusual? I mean, the white roads are amazing. I think I read that there's 150 miles of these precisely engineered roads, which I've actually walked on, and they're just made to last forever. But I read that you found canals, that you found other structures. Did you find anything that was a surprise, like other pyramids or other major structures in those scans?
Well, Cliff, we have mapped a large portion of the Mirador with a technology called total station technology, which is a laser beam that goes to a mirror and then bounces back to the instrument, carrying the precise location. And we mapped the majority of Mirador with that technology, or a large portion of Mirador with that technology. It took us a lot of money, $1 million worth to do that, and in decades, nearly 15 years of mapping that. But with this LiDAR that we took in there, which had an instrument that was capable of 560,000 points per second, and we flew for 38 hours shooting that kind of a resolution, it allowed us to see 100% of every single terrace, every single platform, every single dam, every single causeway, and we now have the complete image of the density and the format of those cities out there. And it was totally surprising. Of course, I was surprised. We mapped El Mirador and Nak Bay, for example, and Tintal to the millimeter with total station technology. But I was astonished at two things. I was astonished at how good we were, and I was astonished at what we missed. Even at that resolution, we missed incredible things we had no idea that existed. It's hard to detect a causeway when it's 40 meters wide. You see, that's a little more than almost a half a football field. So when you're on the causeway, you don't realize you're actually on a huge causeway system that was paved and was connecting all of these palace compounds, and we have internal causeways and we have the external causeways that join all the different sites in a web, in a net.
Do you hear the complex architect and design of El Mirador, of niggas that created this city thousands of years ago? So when I say niggas, I mean people that look like me and you. Do you hear this design thousands of years ago? These people are in awe of the design and architecture that we put together. Excuse me. that we put together. Excuse me, shit. This is a fire bill, man. If y'all really paying attention, there's a lot of information in here, man. So make sure y'all get y'all pens and pad ready. Make sure y'all support the channel too, man. Hit that like button, share the live stream.
Work of complex economic and political interaction, which is why we think that's what launched them. Once they got that kind of communication system, essentially launched them in the stratosphere politically.
Yeah. I did read that you had measured these causeways, these white roads, at 40 to 50 meters long. That's monstrous. That's like the biggest roads that I've ever heard about. I mean, they must have had huge commerce going between these different cities at some point. Are all of them about 40 meters, the whole 150 miles worth, or is it just a portion of the closest part of the city are the big causeways?
No, they range. They range. Most of them are 40 meters wide, 30 to 40 meters, and we have a couple that are 50 meters wide. They're all in that range, and they're all elevated. Even when they go across the swamps, you would think that makes sense to have them elevated there, but when they get to the upland areas, they're also elevated. So these causeways were the largest, actually, when you want to consider the volumetrics of architecture. They are probably the largest constructions that we have out there.
When you say elevated, is it a foot or 2 feet above?
No, 2 to 6 yards.
Oh my God.
2 to 6 yards high.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
So not only was it a road, you can pretty much say it's a highway. It's a raised highway, a raised expressway. It's a risen road. It's risen off the ground. Like he said, 2 to 3 meters, which is equivalent to like 6 to 9 feet.
Just like a freeway. Our freeways are elevated. They make 2 to 6 just actually. When you want to consider the volumetrics of architecture, they are probably the largest constructions that we have out there.
When you say elevated, is it a foot or 2 feet above?
No, 2 to 6 yards.
Oh my God.
2 to 6 yards high.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Just like a freeway. Our freeways are elevated. They make a road base. They elevate the freeways. The Maya were doing the same thing.
I had an engineer on the show who did some analysis of these causeways, of these white roads, and he basically broke them down, and the work, the type of mortar they used, and the building up of rock underneath, and I mean, they're really quite a brilliant piece of engineering, aren't they?
Absolutely. No, these were, and the word in Maya for a causeway is Sac Bay, meaning white road, and they were paved, or they had those paved with that white glistening plaster, and it just was what I'm calling the first freeway system in the world. Nothing in any other part of the world was able to match that level of road constructions. The Roman highways didn't even compare in the slightest. The Inca highways were a magnificent construction, 3,000 miles long, but they were, 2 meters wide. These are 40 meters wide and 43 kilometers long, and there's dozens of them.
Hey, can y'all hear the audio loud and clear? Can y'all hear the audio loud and clear? This is Dr. Richard Hansen going in on Guatemala and the El Mirador Bison, man, the 60,000 structures found down there, man. Y'all got to hit the like button. If y'all ain't feeling this, let me know. If y'all feeling the bill, drop the fire emojis in the chat. Drip check. If y'all feeling the bill, drop the fire emoji. If not, drop the doodle emojis. If you ain't feeling it, drop the doodle emojis. Excuse me. Let's get it.
Dozens.
If I see 3 doodles on Anthony.
Dozens and dozens of them, which is astonishing, because now we can see where they were linking certain other cities with each other. They were linking certain palace groups to other groups, other structures in the cities. It just makes a whole new perspective on their social and even their economic interactions by examining and looking at those type of phenomena.
You actually did some very accurate measurements, and you came up with El Mirador's main plaza. I think it was 52 square kilometers, which is roughly 20 miles of standing architecture. I mean, is that the biggest in the Central America? I mean, not other than Teotihuacan. Is that one of the biggest Mayan structures in the world?
Well, the city itself is the largest in the Western Hemisphere. It's larger in area than Teotihuacan is. El Mirador by itself is dwarfs Teotihuacan. We had 52 square kilometers of monumental architecture, and now because of the LiDAR, we're able to see it looks like it's more like about 15 by 15, in some cases 20 by 20.
If y'all feeling the bill, hit the like button, share the live stream, and support the channel. Feel me? Cash out tags at the bottom right of the screen. PayPal information is sticking across. Make sure y'all drop them fire emojis, man. Let's get it.
Square kilometers of monumental architecture, which is 400 square kilometers of monumental buildings. So it's astonishing to see that level of sophistication centuries and centuries and centuries before the time of Christ.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. I got one question for you that I found in a recent lecture that you gave with Michael Cole, the eminent archaeologist, who is now in his late 80s. Wonderful to hear that he's still with us. He believes, and he actually said that he believes in diffusionism, where cultural exchange between cultures, in his opinion, in Indonesia. We've had research investigators on this program who have talked about the pyramid cultures in Indonesia, and I've seen a number of photographs that are very similar to Mayan pyramid complexes, but not quite the same size. But I'm curious, what is your?
Hey, you're welcome, Christopher Career. You feel me? You're welcome, bro. I do this for the Aborigines, man. This is exclusive interview from Dr. Richard Hansen. You cannot find this information on YouTube. Okay, this is exclusive.
Your opinion on that, diffusionism and
well, there's a couple of issues here. Number one, we know the DNA of the Western indigenous societies all ties into Eastern Siberia. So we do have DNA from that area, but nobody in Indonesia was building pyramids of the size and scale from that we see in the Maya world. They're 1,000 years later, 2,000 years later in Indonesia.
Right.
See, so if it went anywhere, it went the other way. It went from the Maya that way. Now, what this shows, did y'all
just hear what he just said? That the pyramids in Indonesia look similar to the ones of the Maya, but the ones of the Maya predate the ones by Indonesia by 2,000 years. So it ain't like the Indonesians taught the Maya. He said it would have been in reverse. The Maya taught the Indonesians. Me, I ain't listening.
That we see in the Maya world. They're 1,000 years later, 2,000 years later in Indonesia.
Right.
See, so if it went anywhere, it went the other way. It went from the Maya that way. Now, what this shows, what I suggest, and what this shows us is the marvelous that we're, as human beings, we're wired pretty much the same all the way around. We have the same virtues and the same vices as society. And one of the things that's consistent is the construction of monumental pyramids. It's consistent through all those early societies, but they differ in shape and form. A Maya pyramid has 3 summits. It has a stairway to it. It's a functional building. An Egyptian pyramid is funerary, and it has no stairway up it. It has no purpose other than to serve as a standing.
I mean, it's not meant for human interactions. Our pyramids was real temples that was meant for human interaction. All the way up to this day, you can walk on them pyramids today. Man, let's get it, man. Drop them fire emoji. This is a fire bill, man. Y'all don't even know how fire this is.
Monument to Cheops or to Ramses or any of these great kings and pharaohs of Egypt. So there were different shapes. There's a lot of similarity, though. And one of the fascinating things about Indonesia and Cambodia and Thailand areas is the fact that these pyramidal structures flourished in tropical forest societies. Most of the developments occurred in arid areas or temperate climates, not in tropical forest systems. And that's what makes it unusual. For example, today there are primitive societies, primitive tribes living in the Amazon. They're still hunters and gatherers. They're still primitive in many, many ways in their architecture. And yet the Maya living in...
He's talking about the Mongoloid people that lives in the area today. They're primitive. They don't have no architecture science. They don't have masonry. They don't have the studies of mathematics.
The same environment created one of the greatest ancient civilizations of the world. How and why does that happen?
Yeah.
In many, many forest systems. And that's what makes it unusual. For example, today there are primitive societies, primitive tribes living in the Amazon. They're still hunters and gatherers. They're still primitive in many, many ways in their architecture. And yet the Maya living in the same environment created one of the greatest ancient civilizations of the world. How and why does that happen?
Yeah. I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, I do, Christopher. I'll break one down sometime next week.
The bottom of the article, he says if he had to do it all over again, he would have spent more time in the Pacific region studying those cultures. But I don't know. I'm a Mayanist myself, and I find the Maya culture just fascinating. We just don't know enough about them. I mean, it's almost like I wish somebody would find some more codices so we would know more about their evolution. You know, I mean, the land is burning of all those books was a real travesty in many ways, because we have to guess. I mean, the Stela telling us a little bit about how the kings were living and what some of the time periods are is very, very helpful. But wouldn't you say it'd be nice to find a kind of a small library of cultural history?
Well, that would be every archaeologist's dream. I mean, we only have 4 codices in the world, 4 Maya codices in the world, and Diego de Landa did do a major, major damage by burning all those books. And of course, Landa recorded that it caused the Maya great consternation when he did that.
Oh yeah,
he was.
Shout out to Dre Cobb's Music for the Cash App donation, supporting the $2 challenge. Make sure y'all support the $2 challenge, man. Shout out to Dre Cobb's. Man, listen, they talking about Maya and Olmec, where they at. We don't know, because the people there are primitive. Nigga, we talking to one. You're talking to one, nigga. The Mongoloids down there. Them niggas ain't got no science. They don't know what's going on down there. You want to know what's going on down there? Come talk to a nigga like Commander Chief in the chat. Come talk to Brown Wolf in the chat. Come talk to Chief Holiday in the chat. Come talk to a Big Al Power. Nigga, we're going to tell you about what our history is here.
Trying to stamp out their religion, and that was one of the ways he could do it, because they were always consulting their books. They were always consulting their scriptures, so to speak. So when he burned all those books, it created a huge loss, not only for the Maya at the time, but for us today. Yeah. Now, we are aware of other codices. There was a codex that's been found in a cave in Chiapas, but it was covered with travertine, and they can't. It's a codex that's covered with the stone, and they can't take off the travertine without destroying the book. We also have a record provided by an informant of a codex that was found in a late classic burial at El Mirador in 1983. It was looted at the time. I put guards in there in 1992, but in 1983, there was a chamber that they had broken into And the informants tell us that there was a strange book that looked like an accordion. They described it as you play an accordion and it has the pillows going in and out. They described that it was covered with stucco and painted with glyphs and all over it. And so the guy threw it in his knapsack and was hiking back to Carmelita. And when he got to the ancient city of Tintal, by then the thing had turned into dust. And so he just dumped it out at Tintal.
Oh, God. I hate to hear those stories.
Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. We don't have.
So now you're hearing the story of how our documents and our records are easily disposed and dumped out like somebody's ashes that they don't give a fuck about. This is how our records go unnoticed. This is how our records is not on file because they're literally turning back into dust. Almost everything is biodegradable that our ancestors did. They took another step towards technology than what we're at right now, man. This is a fire bill, man. Drop them fire emojis in the chat, man. Let's get it.
The classic period codex. There's no such thing. All the ones that we have are post-classic. So to have found a classic period codex would have been unique in the world. That would have made the one and only we would have ever had. The preservation of these things is so poor because of the heat and humidity, and they just weren't conducive to long lasting. One of the things that we found in the Mirador Basin exclusively is the production of what we call codex style pottery. After the basin collapsed around 150 AD, there was essentially nobody in the basin for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. But by around 700 AD, a small group of eccentric artists moved back into the ruins of these pre-classic cities and were painting a pottery, which is a cream background with black line images and texts on them. And this pottery appears to have been taken and copied off codices.
Wow.
That's why they're called codex style ceramics. Because some of the scenes are replicated over and over and over again, or they're
you have someone coming through doing restoration. So they knew that the shit was not going to survive. So they had certain people that was educated and had the technical ability to come through and rewrite, translate, to transfer the information in pottery form so it would last. And a lot of these motherfucker people been looting our information because it's going to show that these dynasties been around a lot longer than what you think, probably predating Sumer in itself. So this is ancient Aboriginal information. This is pre-class and Mayan. This is the snake god. And this is Dr. Richard Hansen exclusive interview and details of Guatemala and the El Mirador Bison. Let's get it.
Mythological scenes, they have elaborate texts that are painted on these vessels, but they're called codex style ceramics because they look like they were actually taken off the codices, and they replicate the codices by having the cream background, which would have been the stucco on the pages of paper, and then the writing on them. So there's obviously more codices that Landa didn't find. He didn't round up every book in the Maya world. It's just we have to be fortunate enough to find the preservation quality that will let that happen.
Have you found any crypts with any bodies of kings or queens or nobles in El Mirador or any of the surrounding cities in the Mirador Basin?
Oh, yes, we have. I excavated a royal burial at the site of King Tao, in which we recovered an individual who had been buried with 6 other people in his burial. And he was decked out in jade. He had shells, elaborate, and a title, who was several titles inscribed in the jade, but one of the largest pieces of jade had the title Khan Ahau, or Snake Lord. So we know that he was a lord of the Snake Kingdom at that time, and that was found at Tintal. The most fabulous discovery that we're aware of was unfortunately looted. I was shown this burial by a looter who said, "I want to show you something that I found when I was looting." And so he went cross country to a site, Wagna, and sure enough, there were pre-classic tombs there that he had excavated. The pre-classic pottery was still inside the tombs. all he took were the jades. And what he told me is he took 23 pounds of jade out of the main burial. And I said, how do you know you had 23 pounds? And he said, because he sold it by the pound. Now, the largest Maya burial with jade that we've ever found was at the site of Altunha in Belize. And part of that was this huge, beautiful jade head that was found. That was 12 pounds of jade. He found a burial with 23 pounds of jade in it, but unfortunately it was looted. And we don't know where it went. We don't know what the artifacts were. We have no idea how it's dispersed. We only know that it was pre-classic. We recovered that pottery.
More information of ours that tells the story about our ancient history, scattered and never probably to be seen again for probably another 100 years until somebody stumbles across it in some random spot. So this is how our information been getting done since these people came here. They never show respect, but we tried our best. Our ancient ancestors tried. And no matter of fact, they didn't try. They was triumphant in documenting. They was triumphant in documenting their history and everything else when it came to record keeping. Man, let's get it, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. It's a beautiful time to be an Aborigine, man. Damn, it feels good to be an Aborigine. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, notification bell. You want to get all your latest updates and notifications to your live stream. It's your brother, Big Aboriginal Power, man. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Support the channel. Cash out tags at the bottom right of the screen by the grizzly bear, man. Let's get it.
Down the National Museum in Guatemala City, and it's most unfortunate that we didn't get there first. Most
as a academic archaeologist, are you supposed to turn over artifacts to the Guatemala authorities for their museum, or does any of it get to the States other than maybe a traveling show or anything? How does that work?
That's a fact, big bro. Brown Wolf, you already know. I'm waiting too, nigga. I got the bread.
Every single thing that pertains to the government. We can arrange traveling exhibits, and we can arrange loans to museums from the government of Guatemala. But it is their cultural heritage, and it's we're interested in helping them preserve and protect and conserve their legacy, their cultural heritage, and that's it. All goes to the government. Everything.
So the days so the days are over. As an example, when I think it was the University of Philadelphia, or I think Philly was the main support of.
All right, big bro, Brown Wolf. I'll be waiting, big bro.
All the artifacts came to. Well, maybe it was the Peabody. I can't remember.
That was the Peabody. With Edward Thompson. Yeah, those days are gone. What they did is they split the loot in half with the Mexican government, and they took the other half.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious because I'd love to see
those days.
Yeah, those days are over.
Those days are over. But small wonder, what if France wanted their U.S. Constitution? You see, we want the original document. We want it, and then it goes to Paris. How would you feel about that as an American?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, let's talk about coming out and visiting you. You got to fly into Guatemala City, and then how do people come and see El Mirador? Because I'm considering it, but I want to know.
Well, there's a great question. That's a great question. How do you get out and see this? There's some tour companies in the U.S. that are starting to arrange these trips now. There's a company in Los Angeles called Bella Guatemala Travel, BGT, that arranges trips in the Mirador. There are other companies in Guatemala, one called Green Tours of Guatemala, that arrange for people that can go in there and see this. What they do is you can either hike in 2 to 3 days one way in there.
I know a couple people ask me why don't I use PayPal. I do. It's on the screen. The PayPal information is on the screen, man. You see it, PayPal, Big Aboriginal Power, all one word, man. Let's get it. Support the channel. Share the live stream. Shout out to my brother Supreme Chief Holiday. Shout out to Max Goo. Shout out to Shy Alpha. Shout out to all the American Aborigines tapping in, man. Peace and blessings, man. Good to see y'all in here. Make sure y'all support the channel. Make sure y'all share the live stream.
Or you take a helicopter, and we have heliports in numerous ancient cities out there where they can land. And of course, if you make the arrangements, then you can you can stay overnight. A lot of people like to fly into the site for the day and fly back to some luxurious new hotels that are being built in the Flores area. There's one called Bolon Ticul, one called Las Lagunas, and then we have the Camino Real. So you have beautiful hotels in the Flores area. You can stay there. But for the more adventurous souls, you can hike in, and they can provide all the tents, they provide all the food, they provide all the mules, they provide all the guides. They can provide everything you need for that experience as you hike in and out. If you do the whole circuit, it takes about 7 or 8 days to do a circuit where you go through the city of La Florida and to Tintao, and then the Mirador, and then the Back Bay, and then the Wagna, and then back to Tintao. It's a huge circuit where you see different cities and all the way on that hike. It's a great adventure. It's rigorous. I have to say that it's 64 kilometers in there, but
that's roughly 50 miles. Is that 50 miles?
40 miles.
40 miles. And what's the terrain? Is it pretty flat, or is it hilly, or I mean, getting in?
It's slightly hilly. It's rugged. It's a little bit rugged. It's not like you're climbing mountains. You know, the largest hill you would climb would be 30 meters or 90 feet would be the highest one you would climb. But then it's relatively low. The problem are the tree roots, and then but it's fascinating because you get to see birds, you get to see animals, you get to see the ancient sites en route, the different types of forests. There's 6 types of tropical forests in the Mirador Basin. You get to see all the different types of forests as you're in there. So that's a wonderful experience. And the Green Tours of Guatemala or Bay of Guatemala Travel can help arrange that and make sure that your experience is done with expert guides and depending on what you want to do. If you want to fly it on a helicopter, sometimes there's a helicopter based in Flores, which reduces the cost dramatically. And they just charge by the hour flight time. That's what they charge. And it's about a 40-minute flight one way from Flores into Mirador.
Mm-hmm. How many months out of the year are you there doing your work?
Well, we'd like to be there year-round. It would help us speed up the conservation process. But we're there primarily from June through September, into September, which is the rainy season. But we need the water, so we need the water for the mortars and the restoration, the consolidation, and I need the water for all the workmen that we have. But in March and April, there's a lot of tourism that goes in there because of Holy Week, Semana Santa. But it's very hot, and a lot of ticks and chiggers are out then. My ideal time of the year is to visit from November through February. And the reason for that is because it's cooler. Number one, it's much, much cooler. And number two, you see much more animals. Now the animals are starting to do their nesting. They're out with their little ones, but they're out in the spread out throughout the jungle. But in November, they all congregate, and they all bring their little ones for public display. And you have turkeys and deer and peccary and tapirs, and it's just a menagerie of animals out there because we prohibited all hunting since 1979. And as a result, we've gained the confidence of these creatures to where they're visible to the tourist.
Fascinating. Wow. Well, hey, Dr. Richard Hansen, it's been a real pleasure speaking with you. I'm fascinated in your work at
.com. We have the conservationfund.org, which is based in San Francisco. A Mirador Conservation Fund, which is a group of businessmen in San Francisco organized this fund to collect water or money for.
So I'm gonna end the interview right there, man. Be tuned in for the next one, man. I got some fire shit. We're gonna be getting into Corral Soupe tomorrow. I want to definitely be getting into that type of information. It's gonna be a dope deal. We're gonna be dealing. Actually, I don't know if I'm gonna do the Corral Soupe or I'm gonna deal with a particular spot in North America that has ancient Aboriginal science and history, mega structures as well. So, man, like I said, I told y'all that I was gonna come every day this week with some heat. I told y'all for the next week, for the next 7 to 9 days, I'm coming with pure heat every day. The Wake and Bake, the Wake and Bake show is back lit. Y'all already know what's up, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Y'all acting like y'all don't want to support the channel. Hit the like button, hit the share button. You know what I'm saying? If you're new to this channel, man, hit the subscribe button, man. You already know, man. The latest live stream in the morning, man. Big Aboriginal Power, the Wake and Bake Show. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I want to just chop it up with y'all for a little minute. What y'all got going on out there? Y'all enjoy the build? Y'all enjoy the build out there, family? Let me light my wood up. We about to chop it up for a little second before I get out of here. Fire in the hole, goddamn. Shout out to Nina B, Negro Science, Mound City Mellow, Patrick Gabriel. Shout out to Patrick Gabriel, man. You're a real nigga, man. Solid nigga, man. I met Patrick in real life too, so don't get it twisted. I met him face to face. We was vibing on some Aboriginal shit. Shout out to my nigga Patrick, man. You're a solid guy. What's going on, man? Y'all enjoy the bill? Y'all can give me some feedback, man. Talk to me. We chopping it up now. Y'all can type. I'm looking at the chat. I don't normally even read the chat, but I'm looking at it now. So what's up with it? How y'all feeling out there? What y'all want to hear next? Well, matter of fact, what y'all want to hear next? Where y'all want to go with it? What y'all want to hear? What location? What type of information? What y'all want me to do with it? I'm gonna ask y'all for the next one. We're gonna pick a couple of them out, and then we're gonna decide on which one we're gonna do. So what y'all want to hear, man? Shout out to the family in here. What y'all want to hear? What y'all want to hear next? Somebody said Tanae Wakan. Tanae Wakika. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm pretty sure I know what that is. Is that it? I mean, shit, is that it? Goddamn. 8 miles of East Texas. Oh, yeah, I remember my man said that. Yep, I'll keep that in mind. I just want to see what y'all was saying out there. Cocaine mummies. All right, Chief. Don't start your bullshit, nigga. You know, we supposed to do a pay-per-view for that one, man. I ain't gonna give them all of that right now. That's one of them ones. You hear me, Chief? We're gonna have to put that together. That's one of them ones. Fuck the bullshit. Mounds in America. I done did a lot of mounds in America, man. I done probably did over 50 bills on mounds, different mounds. Knowledge on Mammoth Cave in Kentucky. Okay. I know it's Mammoth Mound too in Kentucky too. Yeah, man. All right, y'all throwing some shit out there. I'm gonna pick and choose. Anyone needs cloud computing services, I do offer consultations. Send me the link. All right, hold on. I got you, Chief. Hey, shout out to my nigga Lucky Two Sticks. Lucky Two Sticks, what's up with the hood nigga Netflix, nigga? I'm trying to get on. I'm trying to get on, cuz. I'll help promote it, man. Let's talk some numbers, man. Get with me. Get with me, Lucky Two. All right, Chief, I sent that to you, gang. Great Lakes, Mammoth County, New Jersey. I see a few of them, man. Mammoth County, the Great Lakes. Yeah, I should do one on the Great Lakes. Yeah, man. The Great Lakes ain't a bad one. Great Lakes ain't bad. Me that my brother Chief and this motherfucker. We got some Commander Chief, Supreme, motherfucking Holiday in this bitch. What up, Chief?
Ab, what's up, brother? How you feeling today?
Man, you know the vibes.
Yeah, man, you definitely going in with the information today. I just wanted to point out a few things that I did hear. I caught. Um, Fire Bill, super Fire Bill, man. Dude was going in, and I think it's a lot of things went over a lot of people's head, bro.
Yeah,
You
talk
know what
about
I'm
it, man.
saying?
That's an exclusive
I,
interview,
I,
man.
I gotta say, he said something that says, like he was speaking, he says, our people, like we built this, we did this, we did this. Dude, you're a European. See what I'm saying? You see how these people, this is how they muddy the water. And then they're saying things like Mayan built this. It's not a Mayan civilization, not a Mayan time period. What they're doing is they're writing talking points. They're writing themselves back into time, y'all. They're writing Mesoamerica back into ancient time periods. So I just want to say that. So even when these people are exposing certain stuff, they're using certain words that they know didn't exist at that time period. They're calling Mayan ruins and certain things, whatever. Mayans didn't build it. So I just want to point that out. And once again, you're still describing a dark people when you're saying Maya, Mayan. You understand what I'm saying? So this architecture is unparalleled on the planet, bro. And last night I did Miami's bird, the circle of pyramid up there. And we had a fire bill last night, man. On the same line, we were doing a series on North American pyramids, North American
What the
ruins.
circle pyramid at, Chief?
In Ohio, Miami's bird.
You know what else is funny about that is the only other place you find circular pyramids is by the open. They kind of is the fathers of that architectural style. And what's also significant about Olmec is they gave a reference to the snake, right? That's what Kukulkan is, the plumed serpent, Quetzalcoatl, right? And in Ohio, you say you found the circular pyramid, and something else significant to that is you find Snake Mound, which is the same thing as Kukulkan or the plumed serpent in Ohio as well. So you find the connection between Olmecs and Ohio. That's actually a dope connection. Uh,
Love what you said that, shout out to Lotus, man. We did stuff a couple years ago on Burroughs Cave, and we literally showed, air quote, she culture all the way to Canada, right? They call it Olmec. And once again, when you name stuff, you could push the narrative. You own it. They own the narrative by saying, oh, well, this is Olmec. Well, then we find some Olmec stuff in Michigan. We find some Olmec stuff in Ohio. It's
that's
all
what
the
I say.
same culture, bro.
These are misnomers, like I explained to y'all
Misnomers.
yesterday. We was breaking
Absolutely.
down Powhatan and some of these northern
Same
tribes.
people.
These are the same people. The Powhatan, same people. The Virginia
Mhm.
Indians, same people. The people in Mexico, Olmec, whatever you want to call them, same people.
The
So,
Calusa. They know
man,
that they have people in Florida that are at least 12,000 years old. Structures of course, if they got structures there, then those structures are at least 12,000 years old. I mean, bro, we have the oldest civilization on the planet in North America.
and one of those is credited to being in Peru. And what do we find in Peru? What do we find in Peru? Y'all find out about that later on this week. I ain't gonna spoil it for y'all. I got a whole bill set up for Peru. I told y'all that. So yeah, man, I'm gonna tell you one thing you find in Peru. You find Corral Super A.
I mean, I don't think people understand why this is important though, bro. Like you're finding all this stuff, all this evidence, bro. I guess I played this Medicine Man video last night. Medicine Man was just compile. You know how he do it, man. He compiled so much stuff, man, into this video. It's just crazy. So you have to go back and stop it, rewind it, take notes. But bro, it's so much overwhelming evidence that we've been here. This is our land. I mean, overwhelming evidence, bro. Overwhelming evidence that Negroes been here. And what's so confusing about this whole Africa thing that they say we all came from Africa is that there's no evidence of that.
You heard how they was disposing
see the
some of
problem?
our evidence. You heard how a lot of our stelays turned to dust after people was robbing these particular sites. People, they don't give the ancient Mayan and Olmec credit and the Inca credit and for being some of the most sophisticated record keepers of the Western Hemisphere. And they haven't even found 3% of the records that initially were stored. They just only found the fraction and they're giving us this credit. You see what I'm saying? So
did he say something about they burnt down some books, burnt down some?
Yes, a couple. They said a library was burnt down where a lot of the stored steles. A lot of it turned to dust because of the humidity. A lot of it was bad kept because of the humidity and the warm weather. And the rest was stolen and given away. You see what I'm saying? From gold to jade. You see what I'm saying? And like he said there, he's not even. You hear how he say he got to go during the rainy seasons because they got to capture the rain, and they're not creating their own water capturing system. They're using the ones that was already in place there.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. Yeah, I think I'll pass on the Guatemalan trip. Real talk.
Yeah. Ain't got no fresh
go to
water.
Mexico, a few spots in Mexico, man. Y'all stay tuned, man. Also, man, August 3rd through the 7th, man, it's going down, man. Las Vegas. You guys be tuned for that, man. Y'all already know, man. Links always in the chat room, man. There's opportunities on deck over here, man. This Aboriginal community is moving. And so when they talk about a movement, the reason why they call this a movement because we are moving, you guys. So there's all different levels of this information, man. So if this ain't for you, a lot of people's archaeology and geology and craniology and all the ologies is boring. But some of us are nerds. Me and this guy are nerds. We do this shit all day. This is what we do.
Some guys might be into more of the technical sides, like the crypto and getting into the advancement. Some of y'all might be on the hands-on, boots on the ground, handing out pamphlets hand by hand to neighborhood. Hey, each position and part must be played. And you know what I'm saying? Every part of the mechanics come together as a whole to operate the whole body. You feel what I'm saying? So hey, let's play our parts and let's do our due diligence or whatever lane you in, man. We ain't taking nothing away from either one of you guys for what y'all could contribute to the movement, man. The movement is because we're actually mobiling the information. The information has become mobile now. So shout out to everybody in the chat, man.
Yeah, man. I don't know what this guy Negro Science be talking about. This guy, he just go backwards so much. It's just, you should put the hot sauce bottle back up too on your avatar. Damn clown. This guy's crazy. He must don't remember that debate. I think Ruwer probably is one of my first 5 bodies I got. Root, you need to shut your ass up, bro. Real talk. Peace and God, though, man. It's the GOAT.
Hey, man, make sure y'all support the channel, man.
We got the boat.
Hey, let me ask y'all a question while we got y'all in the chat. We got 133 people in here, and I want to get y'all answers. By a show of 2, that means no. By a show of 1, that means yes. So now I'm going to ask y'all the question. Should Big Aboriginal Power start his own battle rap league? Should Big
I can answer
Aboriginal?
that too.
Yeah, you can answer. Let's let the chat answer it first.
I'm too niggas so
Should Big Aboriginal Power start his own battle rap league? That's a question for you guys. Show of 2 means no, 1 means yes. How y'all gonna answer that?
Hey, is walking a horse some gay thing that niggas do or something? What is you talking about? I don't know what that is. What are you talking about, walking a horse? Jesse got a 1 up in there. Enoch got a yes. Dre got a yes. Hey man, you guys got music, man. ChiefHoliday@gmail.com, man. You already know, man. You fired, we're gonna play you, we're gonna rock you. If you're not, we're just not gonna talk about it.
Hefe got a yes. Bull Prince got a yes. Juan Torres got a yes. Okay.
Hefe got a yes.
All right. Yeah, I know all the views from his league that he gets come from over here. I know that.
Terrible.
Somebody said,
terrible.
Yeah. Somebody said,
Noble Nuth Atun Shrek L says 2. You should have a group of battle rappers and go around bodying niggas. He said you got to
have a home league to represent. They got to have a home league to represent. Nobody goes out as a team with no team.
You could be a traveling team though.
Yeah,
like you know what I'm saying? Could be a traveling team. But yeah, I think it's something that we should definitely explore. Y'all already know, man. If you're a producer, man, you're a DJ, man, tap in ChiefHoliday@gmail.com. We got some great things coming in store, man. If you guys got beats, yeah, like I said, me and Cut, shout out to DJ Cut, the best to do it if you ever knew it. Cut, you killing them. Y'all know if y'all missed last night too, man. It went down, man. The Summer of Love every Sunday, man. Mixcloud, man. You guys know about that, man. Tell a friend, tell another friend, man. It's going down, man. This Sunday is going down.
That might be something we might be doing over here, man. We might be setting up some of the best battles you ever seen over here on this league over here.
Yeah, man. We have to, and then all of that though, you guys, you know, what's what we do, man. We do entertainment, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think we're gonna do it. But we definitely setting up for a beat battle, man. So you guys, if you guys cash prizes, we signing at least one person if you fire. But definitely, man, tap in, man. You got fire beats, man. We placing beats, not only with artists that you guys heard of, but placing beats in the air quote mainstream industry, things like that or whatever. Like I said, man, we working over here, man. ChiefHoliday@gmail.com, you guys. Jobs, opportunities, business opportunities on deck, you guys.
Let me get to one. Nah, man, that's real, man. And make sure y'all support the movement, man. Y'all be acting real funny, man, when it comes to supporting the movement. But I want to play a quick 30-second promo, man, for one of my artists that we pushing, man. Shout out to Hellyway. Make sure y'all go download all this music. And let's get it, man.
They won't see me. They won't let me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the eyes wanna murder, I got a feeling, deep my stomach, paranoia, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the eyes wanna murder, I got a feeling, deep my stomach, paranoia.
Yeah, man, that Hellyway. Better go hard, bro. You guys tap in. Y'all haven't got that Cowboys and Indians complimentary download, man. Definitely tap in, man. Best compilation out right now, man. Compilation of the summer. Y'all know we working on part 2, right? Part 2 coming soon, man. So y'all be on the lookout for that. Coming real soon, by the way. So shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to all the artists, man.
Hey, man, make sure y'all support the channel, man. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Hit that like button, support the channel. Share the live stream, man. We got more heat coming. I told y'all 9 days of heat. I'm giving y'all every day. We coming with flame, man. So hopefully y'all enjoy the build. Shout out to my brother nonetheless for just adding more substance to the Benjamin Banneker bill. Yesterday he actually drove out to Benjamin Banneker house where he was born at. So shout out to my brother, man, for going out there adding that extra in for me. We like this motherfucking peanut butter breath up. Shout out to my brother Al TV. Al TV, shut the live stream, brother. Shut the live. Shout out to my brother. My brother Al TV will be going live later on. Right after this, man. Shout out to my brother Al TV, man. We about to get ready to wrap this up in a second.
That's what's up, man. Peace to the guys, man. I see Yost in the building. Hawk Yost, nonetheless.
Hawk Yost, man. What's up, my brother? That's my brother, man. Hawk Yost. The
Yeah, man.
shirt.
Peace to the guys, man.
Yeah, man.
Kush cake.
Yeah, man. The Kush cake, man. That's some nice smoke. Yeah, man. Shout out to no, he said he in the swamps. He said, yeah, man. Swamp Town shit, man. Swamp Town shit. Shout out to my nigga Tation. I know he down there in the swamps too.
Shout out to Back Creek. Yeah. Peace to the guys, man. Shout out to everybody, man. We'll probably have a triple header today. Ab going, TV going. We'll probably go a little later. So we're just gonna be dropping heat, man.
I need you to set up this shit. We got shit going on, man. Hey, matter of fact, I got a good idea. Call me after the live stream. I'll wrap to you after this.
Cool. I got a few ideas too, man. So we got your boy got 2 hours. Shit. I'm dead serious. You think I'm playing? You gonna call me within them 2 hours. They call me after 2 hours. It's gonna be all bad. Like,
you can only get a 30 minute to an hour extension too, nigga. You only get one.
He ain't getting a minute. It ain't gonna be a minute over noon my time. Nigga. It's a wrap. I'm sorry, man. I don't know. That deal's off the table now. And y'all hear the crowd, they like, nah, man. Y'all might as well go ahead and do your thing, man.
Hey, man. Hey, well, we got my brother Al TV in the chat. A couple days ago was his birthday. So I want to say happy belated birthday to my brother Aboriginal TV. Hey, everybody in the chat, show my brother Aboriginal TV some love, man, for his happy Earth Day, man. Support the brother, man. Show some love, man. Shout out to my guy, man. He's one of the legends in the community, man. Shout out to him, man. Show him some love.
Yeah, man. We just had Trey Ali's birthday too. Just passed.
Man, give another shout out to my Trey Ali, man. One of the GOATs in this Aboriginal community when it comes to putting this information in hip hop format. There'll never be another Trey Ali, man. Shout out to the guy, Trey Ali, man.
That's a fact. Old fact, man. Somebody else just had a birthday. Who's that? Yost, was that you? Somebody just had a birthday. He said his birthday in March, bro.
Who said that?
Oh, shit.
Yo, what the fuck?
Oh, shit. Yo, you already at work, bro. You was late last night, bro. You was kicking it after work last night with me. Sheesh. He said he was talking about Father's Day. Shout out to all the daddies out there, man. Real talk.
I must have read that wrong, man. I'm over here high as a motherfucker.
Hey, oh, it's a happy belated birthday to everybody then. We're going to send a special shout out to everybody's birthday.
Special shout out to everybody that had a birthday.
If you within 6 months, nigga, happy birthday to you.
Happy fucking birthday.
Hey, wow. Shit. Me too. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, happy belated birthday. When your birthday? January. Like nigga, that's 6 months ago. Man. Shout out to Enots 0407. Ghost. That's that DOG8. Yeah, man. We're gonna keep putting in the work, man. You already know, man. Shit, but yeah, man, we're gonna keep dropping the heat, man. We gonna drop the heat. It's just gonna keep dropping heat, y'all. So
yeah, man, that might be a consideration, man. You might see a big Aboriginal Power Battle Rap Network coming to you real soon. Mm-hmm. Battle Rap League, you feel me?
Mm-hmm. That's how you do it, man.
Might be coming real soon, man. Y'all just be on the lookout.
I'm sure to draw, you know, the talent as well. You know what I'm saying? Draw people that will want to come in.
Exclusive interviews from battle rappers. Hey, it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be super lit. It's gonna be super lit.
Yeah, man. We got some real judges. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, real events. Hey, you guys look in the book. Big Aboriginal Power, Job Briggs, Thread 3 Stacks, DJ Cut, Trey Ali, Mao G, Mr. LV, yours truly. Tap in, chiefholiday@gmail.com, you guys. Hey, we working over here. IDGAF bookings at gmail.com, man. Tap in. Hey, man, we're going to come through your city, man, and turn up. Real talk. We're partnering with you, you know, if you guys don't have, we know how it is, man. People don't do this, man. So let's partner, man. Let's work together, man. We'll come to your city, man. We're going to bring something to your city. That's just what it is, man. So shout out to everybody, man, to do this work. Appreciate you guys, man, for all the love. Support the real, man. Support Big Aboriginal Power, man. Getting up every morning. Wake and bake show, man. Like, we don't get it, man. Y'all know how we be, man. We be like, oh, shit. You know, wake and bake show today, man. Come on. So, yeah, man, support the channel, man. Support the real. Support this young brother. Support the movement, yeah.
Man, definitely support the tag, man. If y'all want to support, man, it's taken across the bottom of the screen. Or the screen by the Copper Grizzly, man. Make sure you support.
Bullish ain't shit. Bullish say Happy John Hope Franklin Day. God damn. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Shout out to Al Edwards, too, y'all. Sheesh. Mr. Juneteenth, yeah. Y'all know I ain't shit, so just remember that. I ain't shit. Bullish ain't shit, though.
How nigga do a build on Juneteenth and then he mention his family that started the shit?
Nah, man, because that shit was a lie, my G. Straight lie. Straight lie. Put that down. Real talk, man. I ain't never seen a person to lie about their bloodline like that. Them niggas be hook, line, and sinker and shit. You niggas is minnows, bro. You niggas suck. Not gonna play with y'all. That's why I don't fuck with no. Hey, bro, real talk, man. I fuck with who fuck with me, but I don't fuck with you weirdos, bro. Real talk. So we already told y'all, ain't shit safe. In 2022, we calling everything the fuck out and we letting you niggas have it. Real talk. All that you know, like they don't even have no shame with stealing information. Really don't. They really don't have no shame about that.
That's a fact.
They really don't. They just, as soon as niggas done, they go live and take literally the same information. Well, I didn't know somebody sent me this. Shut your ass up. You niggas is garbage. Real talk. And anybody that got any problem with anything, all you have to do is set up the date where you want to have a discussion. It don't even have to be a debate. We can just have a discussion in the open in front of everybody, and we can just see. Just have the conversation. Let's just see. That's all we got to do. We ain't got to go back and forth like who's right, who's wrong, who's pushing right information. And once again, I feel like your tongue should get cut out your face for lying to the people. Real talk. You shouldn't even have a tongue. Cut that motherfucker out. You are accountable by your tongue or what you say out your mouth. It should be right and exact. And that's how I feel about these people. Even when I hear Hanson and Childress and all air quote, all these experts, right? When they say they have an agenda as well. They want to place themselves here thousands of years ago. You see what they say? They be like, instead of saying, "Oh, the American Negro has been here," they don't even say that. They don't say that. But hey, man, that Medicine Man video it's hard, man. I think I'm gonna share that joint. I mean, because once again, you have to have these pale skinned dudes like this right here with air quote degrees and PhDs behind them. They say, nah, man, forget all that. These is Negroes. American Negro been here. They never came here, right? We need more of them people because our people not gonna believe people of color. They're not gonna believe their bloodline. They're not gonna believe what their ancestors told them. Think about how many of us disregard what our grandparents said, what our parents said, who we are. They don't know who they are. What? So your grandmama didn't know her grandmama, even her great-grandparents? Nigga, you don't know what you're talking about. And the university system don't know your bloodline, don't know your people. See what I'm saying? So it's really weird to me that, I think it's really weird if dude did not have a conversation about his people starting Juneteenth. Because it's the same nigga that went on Sonetta TV talking about Al Edwards is his people with no proof. Make this make sense, my nigga. You niggas fucking suck. Real talk. Real talk. You niggas suck. I stand on it. You niggas suck. I'm not gonna. I'll be anywhere in America by my motherfucking self. Ain't nobody gonna do shit to me. See how that work? For shit I say out my mouth. Nobody. See how that work?
Yeah, that's a fact.
Cocaine over. Yeah, bro, I stand on that. I go anywhere by myself. Nobody gonna do shit to me. I don't need a bunch of niggas. Do none of that. I stand on this. I live this. This is a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? This lifestyle is moving. I stand on this. I am this. Some people be talking, I'm gonna do this every day. They be like, well, where's A1? That A1 doing the work right now outside. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. He teaching right now.
That's a fact.
He teaching right now. Right now. I guarantee it.
Conversation all day, every day, man.
Bro, right now he's talking to somebody about this shit. Right now. He teaching right now. I can guarantee it. Why he doing his business? He done stopped be in traffic. Like, right, we be on the phone. He be in traffic. He'll have a conversation with the person sitting inside in traffic.
I swear to God, that's a fact. Hey,
shout to the guy. Amaru TL, man. Y'all tripping.
This nigga honked the horn at somebody who was like, yo, he followed him, right? And so he like, who the fuck is this following me? I'm on the phone. He get out the car. All I heard is, you Aborigine? You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. I'm like, yo, he going through a whole hour.
You're trying to road rage into Aborigine, yo, God.
That nigga A1 teaching right now. No bullshit.
Right now. I can guarantee it. Right now. Yeah, man, this is a lifestyle, man. You can't help doing this.
Medicine Man, the GOAT. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah, that's a fact. Super fact. Peace to the God.
The Aboriginal power.
That's a fact. The boat, nigga. You fuck these people. That's how we do it over here. See, y'all, what y'all don't understand is we got egos, but we rock with each other like that. We don't have, men don't supposed to, God can walk amongst guys.
Hey, man, you don't even know how many A1 been like, I'll be on the phone, be like, yeah, you know what's up, AP, you know what I'm saying? Fuck it. You need to start bringing out your sources a little more. You know, he be talking to a nigga. He be like, hold on. Hey, excuse me. What tribe you ladies from? Like, that nigga do that shit all the time. Mid conversation. Oh my God, it's my nigga A1.
Oh God, he's teaching right now. I'm telling you. Yeah, shout out to Culture Freedom. Y'all already know, man. Culture Freedom coming as well.
Man, peace and blessings to everybody in the chat. Hey, I might have to do a couple story times for y'all niggas, man. Hey, want to go for real, man? Hey, what?
Shout out to my brother Jaguar too, man. Jag.
I'm gonna be the A1 of the Bay Area and West Coast. Hey, man, that's a fact, man. Everybody got. I'm trying to be the A1 of the. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They gotta be the A1, man. You become the A1 of the community, the big dog. It's a fact. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Peace and love to all American Aborigines. With that being said, man, hashtag nah money grip. Do that for me one time in the chat. Hashtag nah money grip. With that being said, man, everybody be safe. It's your brother Big Aboriginal Power. Be aware, stay vigilant, stay dangerous. It's your brother Big Aboriginal Power. We out.
Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes. The alleyway.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the eyes wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the eyes wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I put attention, all in my blood, all in my veins. They started with perky, now that hair right numb his veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with dealing, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind, and that bullet had his name. Ain't no reason to cry about, cause that shit won't never change. MTF the 4th and P, my niggas can't get out the game. I gotta sleep with one eye open, been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the eyes wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the eyes wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me.